want to throw the first question? Yes.
If one of my leaders have been disappeared, and how to make sure I can step up and hold the network on behalf of him and make sure that they don't quit and give them a spirit to continue doing the business?
Well, normally, like, this happened to all of us, even in my own experience. When I was building a network in the early days, I thought I had leaders with me. In fact, the mere fact that you wake up in the morning and you find your supposedly leaders gone without telling you they're not your leaders. Because the relationship you have with a leader is more of a relationship like marriage. You know, it's a long term. And it doesn't like divorce because there's a new good-looking guy or good, looking woman that comes around. Or, similar like in a company. What we have to understand, there would always be a better company tomorrow, a better plan tomorrow. Everything new is always looking interesting and better for a person. But if I've actually built a good relationship, if I've actually built a leader, he's not just going to move to another company. In fact, in the early days, Dr. Vijay introduced me to one particular network marketing company. So I seriously built. And there were like new other companies that was coming up. And I was losing people in those new companies that were coming up. But I didn't leave him. I didn't join those new companies. You know why? Because he had a very good relationship. He built a good relationship with me that despite there were other better companies than the company that he introduced to me, I wouldn't leave him. In fact, what I do, I would like bring this plan and show him, Vijay, this is a better plan. We should join this company. But I'm not going to join this company without you because you're my leader. So first point is, if your so-called leaders left you without telling you, it means they're not your leaders. It goes to show that you've not really built the strength in your leadership because they pretty much just left in an instant. So what you have now to understand is you must have that connection more. Because real leaders would not just leave you if there's an actual partnership. Is this clear? Yeah? Anyone else?
I was wondering how can I keep the team spirit? And is there any way that I can always hold it as a switch on?
Oh, the team spirit, the spirit. Well, one thing, in networking, we always say that we always need to motivate our network or our downline. There's a regular need for you to motivate them. You nourish them on a regular basis. It's just like, when you give them a business, this business is like the network marketing business. It's like a seed. You give them a seed, right? In the beginning, they don't know what to do with the seed, right? So you have to teach them what to do with the seed. You tell them you got to plant it, you got to water it every day on a regular basis, and that's by attending training, right? So how you actually nourish them, motivate them, is that you got to make sure they go through a process of training. Like they must attend at least basic training on networking. They would understand orientation regarding the company that they're network marketing for, right? At least they must understand what the network marketing industry is all about. Because see, what happens out there, see, in the beginning, that's why we call our presentation in the beginning business, we call it like a BOM, B-O-M, or business opportunity meetings. In the early days, we called it a bomb because it was meant to create like a bomb in your head, wherein when you first see a presentation, you see the dollar sign, the number, the excitement, the dream, the cars, and all of those things. You get very excited, right? But see, that excitement dies very fast. Because see, they don't know what the business is all about. So they go home to their wives that evening. They go to their husbands. They say, hey, honey, this is so exciting. Blah, blah, blah. They start drawing circles, and they couldn't explain well. And the husband goes, oh, that's a pyramid. Oh, that's like this. Oh, I read this newspaper. And so they start being shot by negativities, and they couldn't answer. So immediately their spirit dies. So in the early days in network, and I always do this right now, when I have a new prospect, I put them like in a nursery. Just like when you have a baby plant, you cannot expose them yet to the strong sunlight or the rain, because it's going to die right away. So similarly, when I have a new prospect, I don't immediately expose them to the field outside. So I tell them, okay, this is your first training seminar. You don't know yet, don't talk to people. That's my first thing. Don't talk to people, don't talk to anyone. Okay, let's go on a training first. Right? So I'm going to put him on at least a 1-month training. Teach him how to answer already the basic fundamental questions that people would be asking him. What is that? Is this a pyramid? Is this like this? All the things. I read this on the paper, blah, 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 and all of these other questions that normally would put him down. So if you've trained a person that way, so when he goes out now to prospect and sign people, when he hears those questions, negative questions, you prepared him for the war. You prepared him for the answer. So it becomes easy for that person. Then, of course, the training continues, because there's that's why we're having this video, because I want to be able to answer some of those basic questions as well, and even middle, advanced form of training, so that people at home would somehow get to learn and understand, hey, that is really networking. So one system that we have in networking, that we take good care of our people, we make sure that they're always connected with their mentor or upline. That's why you cannot be successful in this business without an upline. And that upline eventually leads to the grand upline that would somehow have a connection with a company that you're networking with. Because at the end of the day, you cannot just be a serial number. You got to connect with a network marketing company that you're networking for, because there must be a relationship. Because the relationship would be that of a partnership. You know what I'm saying? So we have one basic rule that we always follow. Like if you're building a team, and so that the spirit would always be very high, is that with your downlines, you only give them positive information. You don't share with them negative information going down. But you inform them that negative information should be thrown up. So if I'm an upline, I should get negative information, negative questions, negative concerns, delay of this, delay of that. Okay? Then I bring it up to my upline. And eventually my upline brings it up to the company. So when there's an issue, there's some challenges, as a leader, I must take it up. So if I have challenges with a company in terms of product delays, right, some wrong information that was put on my file or whatever, I don't talk to my downlines about it. Because what happens, you're killing them. You're killing their spirit in networking. And that's a no-no in networking. Always, every time we meet with downlines, we talk to them about new product coming out, the new exciting things coming out, you know what I mean? Bonuses, the new plan, all of these things, because that's what really very much excite them. So as a leader, you must always be updating yourself on company policy, on the plan, watching trainings, attending VCons, attending re-VCons, attending different types of trainings, because that's where you get your petrol. Just like any vehicle, right? For you to reach a destination, you must put some petrol, gasoline, because gasoline runs out. When gasoline runs out, what happens? You don't reach your destination. So similarly, all of us, we're like vehicles also. These bodies are vehicle for success. And some people, you wonder, you show them the business, they were excited before, and now one day they wake up, they're dead. They don't want to move anymore. And they're giving you all of these excuses. But in fact, what just happened is that their fuel ran out. So in my downlines, I always try to make sure, and even with our staff, that's why I have these different trainings, even for staff, I want to make sure I put petrol. Right? After some training, after you come home with a training, are you not all excited, jacked up, right? But see, that petrol would also run for a few weeks. And so there must be always be repetroing. So you have to read, books of Dato Vijay, right, Jam, that would somehow give you some new spirit, new petrol, so you could actually continue and be successful. So pretty much that's really what networking is all about. How you maintain the spirit is really up to you. But it's there. The petrol is there. It's all around. You could get a book, inspirational book. You could attend training. You can watch so many things, inspiring things. You know what I'm saying? To keep you motivated. So whether you're at the workplace or you're networking outside, right? Inspiration, I say, is really the food of the soul. And that's very important for us to have. Any other question? Did I answer your question? Yes?
How can I help others people to be good leaders, whereas I'm learning to be a good leader?
In the beginning, you're starting to grow. You're building yourself to be a better leader. So you may not be yet the good example of what a leader should be. Okay? But don't worry, because we all go through that. No one is good no one is born good in the beginning. So, but you just need to practice that. Okay, so good leadership, the beginning of a good leadership is someone who would take responsibility. Because that's really what it's all about. Now, you may not have all the answers because you're still learning it. But what I did from the very beginning, okay, is I took responsibility, because that's what leadership is all about. I took responsibility and I started caring. I had to care for the people I brought in. And because when you care for someone, you would 24/7 find out ways, even if you don't have the answer, even if you don't know what you're doing, you would find ways, right, to serve the person you're bringing in. Because it's all about not me becoming successful. The beauty in networking is that my success is dependent upon the success of my people. So if I make my downline successful, automatically I'll become successful. So my focus that time was not to make me a better leader. My focus was to make this person a better leader. And by teaching him to become a better leader, I'm becoming a better leader myself. Let me give you an example. Like, you try crossing a strong river current alone. You try to cross it. Even if you're a good swimmer, it's difficult. You cross a river, strong current, you'll be swayed away. Right? So what's the technique in crossing a river? You hold hands. You cross people. With 10 people crossing, you're in the middle, you're actually crossing them. Right? But actually, you're crossing yourself. You know what I'm saying? So by taking forward people to leadership, you become a better leader. So it's not like, okay, I'll build myself alone first. I'll work out, internalize what leadership is. Then when I'm a better leader, I go out then and start networking. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's like work in progress. As you build someone, you become a better leader. But really, what is the best quality a leader must have? Just care. That's all you need. The word care would take care of everything. If you care for someone, Like a mother, first time having a child, she doesn't know. They don't know how to take care of a child. But because they care, it opens up. Instinctively, learning comes out what they need to do. So it's the same with leadership. Actually, in fact, all of us were, just like they say, there's no one born as a leader. Whereas, in fact, all of us has the potential to be a leader. A leader is simply a person taking responsibility. There are some leaders there, supposedly. Why are they called leaders? Because they have people following them, or they have some staff with them. If you have a kid, you have a wife, you're a leader of those kids or wife, automatically, right? If you're the father, if you're the eldest in the family, and you have brothers and sisters, automatically you should be a leader. Now, it's just a question whether you're going to take the role. You take on the responsibility. Sometimes a younger brother would even take the responsibility of leadership. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes in a household, the wife takes on the leadership because the husband doesn't want to take the leadership. He just wants to drink and marry and, you know what I mean, go around and stuff. So the wife takes on the leadership role. You know what I mean? So it's about caring. And when you care for someone, when you care for the business, that's really the very key for you to be successful. And because you care for someone, what do you normally automatically comes right away? Communicate. You communicate. You tell them where they could, what would be in danger, how could they fail, how could they succeed. Automatically, you're going to engage them in training. Right? And even in the beginning, we didn't have to conduct a class like this. Training could be in a coffee shop. You could engage someone in training without even telling him, we're doing training. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of networking, because it's really just personal relationship. And anybody could do it. You don't need a master's degree to be a networker. You're looking at one. I don't have a master's degree of any sort. But hey, networking pretty much worked, you know, and I've seen people. It's really just all about building relationship. And don't mistaken that networking would actually only be useful if you're in a network marketing company. Whereas in fact, even if you're a staff, you're a manager, you have to network with your employees. You got to network with your co-employees. You got to network with your boss, because what is networking? Networking is about building good relationship. That's how I define network marketing. It's building good relationships. And if I have a good working relationship with someone, opportunity is set. And the beauty is there. I mean, we don't need to be networking in QuestNet QI. If I have a good relationship with someone, then, hey, he's a good doctor. Would that help me if somebody in my, you know what I mean, my family is sick? I'll go to this person, I know him, and I know he's going to accommodate me first before others that he doesn't know. Why? Because, hey, we're friends, right? I may be on the 100 bottom down list. He sees me. Hey, that's Mr. Bismark, you know, from school. We're best friend. A secretary pulls my file up, number 1, so I go first. Would you not do that for a friend? If you have a lawyer friend, he'll defend you in court. You know what I mean? So networking is so powerful because some people, they're just focused on, you know, what they could make. You know? And this would be the mistake for the beginning networking. They're more worried about getting their first sale. They're so focused on getting the first sale, so they'll just promise anything just to get the first sale. But that's wrong. You're not after the first sale. I'm after a good relationship. The sale can happen 6 months from now. Doesn't matter. But see, when the sales happen, it's happening not because I'm trying to get a sale from him. It's happening because he wants to engage in this business. And because he wants to engage in this business, I don't need to follow up with him. So the connection is very important. That relationship is very important. And that's what you should be building. Right? Then you would have a strong tree. Because if I have one good networker or one that I could really take care of like a partner, he would also have one or two good ones strong. It goes deeper. Then I have a good solid tree. Not just a bunch of, network who just sign and, one negative news in the newspaper, they're all disappeared. That's why sometimes when we do have some challenges, right, I'm very happy with it because it gets rid of the networkers that are really not serious in the business. They didn't know why they came in. And they would be the first to join is the first to quit. So I look for people who doesn't join right away, who's really difficult. Sign difficult people. That's my advice to the networkers. If this guy is signing up already, what's the rush? Keep him on the side. Look for the difficult people. Come back to him later on, you know what I'm saying? He's signing up already. You don't need to talk. So before, when we're networking, even up to today, if this person's like wanna join already, what else do I need to talk to him about? No more challenge. I look for the difficult one. Then I could practice my leadership, how good I am in presentation. If I could close this guy and it's really difficult, everybody tried, didn't work, I'll try some technique. Other way, find another way. So then it practice your leadership. The skill is something you could practice. Okay? Any other question?
Yeah, Mr. Joseph.
Yes.
Question, regarding to what company achieved so far, people treat the QNet, networking now, especially networking in QNet, as an investment mechanism. Because now I believe that it's impossible to stop if someone ought to believe or would like to stop this, the networking in QNet. It's impossible to do because it's a huge mechanism. And I understand, I totally agree that responsibility and care is the first which comes to. But just now you mentioned about the negativity. Some negative issues happens, challenges. Well, it's life. So the first of all, how should we address this? First, being a leader. Second, being a newly signed IR. And third, being a staff. So
how do we address
this
negative publicity and stuff? One time, because I'm a Filipino, and when we started this business in the Philippines, I was the resident director in the Philippines. And when we were registering the company in the Department of Economic Trade, they didn't know how to categorize us, what license to give. They don't know what license to give. So all we got was an application that we're registering. And they told us we could just do the business. Anyway, the application is there waiting. So for 6 months, we were not breaking the law. For 6 months, I was in a crowd speaking about networking, training people and stuff. Okay? We didn't have a license. Okay? Of course, some joined, some did not, because they were looking, where's your license? So were we illegal? Not really, because we were applying for a license. They couldn't give it to us. So finally, we got our license after 6 months. Okay? And the problem that the challenges that we have, that there were companies who has the same network marketing system, but was done by crooks. Meaning they did the same system, but their main intention is to steal money from people. Because what we have to understand, networking is not bad. Just like a car is not bad. A vehicle is not bad. It's the person, you know what I mean? So the problem here is that some people are using networking to steal, right? But we were not using. We're legitimate. We've been around. We're like on our 13 years right now. Right? You could not say we're illegal. But that time, they could not tell because we were new. They would not know whether we're going to be a scam or not. So it was very easy that we were like labeled as a scam company. Because there are many scam companies. And what proof would I have that we're not a scam company? We just started yesterday. Right? So there was just news, and because there's so many network marketing companies, so even the government started looking into, oh, what's this company? Oh, GoldQuest or whatever, QuestNet. They just started check them out. And they saw we don't have a license yet at that time, but it's on an application. Even when our license came out, they also had challenges because they don't know where. Although they gave us a license, they checked the license. They don't know. They're also confused because networking, I remember just sometime 10, 15 years ago, was very new, even in my country. So is in a lot of countries. The government still don't know how to give them a proper license, right? So there are many scam companies which we should all be careful about. You know, I've been into some scam companies one time, right? I learned my lesson. So I could not blame some of the governments and economic, the trades for pretty much, warning people. In fact, they should be warning people. I warn people on pyramiding. But it should not stop there. What we should do is actually start educating people on what network marketing is all about. In fact, that has happened in the last 10 years. Today, people are more educated on the legitimacy of network marketing business. In Singapore, we have the Direct Selling Association. They understand what network marketing is. They, some of the other companies have actually formed associations. The DSA is an association of different network marketing companies, which we are becoming a member of that as well. And this is like a legitimate body making sure that you're doing the proper, business of networking. Because there are certain activities that's not in the perimeter of a good network marketing company. So the only way to, you cannot really avoid it. Because those kind of challenges and negativity would always be there. In fact, when this was happening, when I was on the press every day, I was facing news TV because I was the resident director. There were, news people every day, they come to the office, are you a pyramid? I was the one facing them. I was just like, after a while, you're like, hey, what's happening? Why is this happening? So I went to our president because I met him in one of our trade delegations. So I went to the president. I said, President, please help me. The media is attacking me. And he laughed. He said, hey, it means you have a good business. So I said, what do you mean? Because I am the president, he said. Even me, the newspaper don't spare me. But he said, it's a sign that you have good business because people are throwing stone or you're in the media. Just make sure you're doing the right one. So he said, famous businesses would definitely be in the news. That's why he told me whether bad news, good news, it's still news. Huh? You heard of the famous boxer? He also had bad news, right? But he's still famous. All of even some famous businesses, they do have some, court case. Even, Microsoft has some challenges in the end. That's it. And because that's pretty much what it is all about. If you have a good business, people will challenge it. Some people don't understand. They'll file some this, they'll file some that. So I don't think there would become a time when we go to places, especially new places, that we would not have challenges. They're always going to test us. We always have to test water. Just like in Malaysia, when we were in Malaysia, our second year in Malaysia, they also went to our office to check us out. right? And they were like, we fought it. And today we're still in Malaysia. It happened in the Philippines. It happened in Singapore, in Jakarta, and all of the countries that we first started. We had to face them and educate them on who we are. So we've been around for the 13 years having that. Now the new countries we're having challenges right now are because of these new countries.
Yes.
But now you got some background to show. You could show them the countries that you're doing business. But it's not easy as that. Because every country you go to is like the tribe, you know. There's a leader in that country. You go in there without asking permission to the leader of that country, they get offended a bit. They could shut you down tomorrow, even if you have the proper license. So that's why we have to connect with the right people in those countries. Because business is business. Like, you cannot just do business in another country without, you know what I mean, the proper legislation in place, government, and this is part. You gotta, make sure tax are being paid by the IRs, companies paying proper taxes, and all of those things must be. But in the beginning, because networking online right now, it's still a misunderstood business for a lot of countries. But I would say, hey, let's gotta wake up. It's the last 20 years, networking has been around for the last 54 years, right? And it's 1 out of every 4 millionaires in the world are coming from this industry. So they cannot turn a blind eye anymore on networking. In fact, all countries are grappling to legislate a proper network marketing license. So it should be clean. Right? In fact, in some countries, we help the government to facilitate them on what is networking. So it's part of our battle to educate people on what real network marketing is all about. Anything else? Yes?
In certain religions, they consider networking as an illegal thing to work with. What are the factors that we can improve and address this issue?
Like what? Like haram?
Okay, yes,
Haram, yeah.
Illegal to work on networking because it involves usually things like this. How would we address this one to the network and IRs?
Well, I started a market in the Middle East that time, where the products we were selling that time was actually gold coins. And I faced some challenges with some fatwa that is haram, but some fatwa says it's halal. So there, even between the different fatwas, they have different views. But when I checked, I went with the DED. I checked why they say gold is haram, because it was in the basis of, they say haram is you cannot exchange. Like if you exchange barter rice to rice, you cannot. Because it means you might be giving a lesser value rice, right? Normally when you barter in the old ways, right, you must barter with a different product, right? So they say you cannot purchase gold with money. It's haram in the fatwa. But we asked further, what if it's gold is already like necklaces, coins, all of this? Fatwa said, no, it's no longer, because it's already been touched and there's a price for the artwork. So it's no longer haram. You know what I mean? So we were able to, in fact, got a lot of fatwa that our business was halal, right? So in countries wherein the what do you call, there's the mullahs, wherein if they would declare the business haram, I could not say anything about that. In fact, I told the downlines, we cannot argue anymore. If it's going to be, if they declare you as haram, don't do business there. But we didn't stop. We found some higher matwas who says it's halal. And when we go to those places, they carry that certificate. In fact, we do have certificates in networking that QuestNet is halal. Yes.
There was a recent fatwa from Syria. They're saying that dealing with QNet is okay, no problem. It's halal. But certain products, they exclude gold.
Right, right. So with those certain goals and stuff, I tell my Muslim brothers and sisters, don't buy that. Don't go against your fatwa, religion. You know what I'm saying? Why that I cannot fight. I'm not going to argue with the mutwa. No, this is halal. No, this is haram. No, 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 no. I'm not. You say it's haram? Fine. I won't sell it in your country. You know what I'm saying? That's why we came up with the some of the, what do you call this? The Dome of the Rock. We came some, Kaaba. We had some products where we sold in Middle East that time. Yeah, I had a lot of haram and halal, but it's pretty flexible. It's depending on who's saying it, who's writing it, you know what I mean? It's funny. In India, they have the same thing. Even in my country, in Catholic country, right? They also have a similar thing. If you're somehow blessed by the Pope, right? So that's why we had I went to Rome. I had the blessing with the Pope, with the Pope coin. So we sold to the Christian. They bought it. Yeah. That's why we have, for Islam, we have the Om. For the Hindu, we have the different. So, but our principle is we're non-sectarian. So we'd like to just focus on just the business. We don't want to get into the religious side of it. Because on the religious side, I have no argument. I respect all religion. Okay? And let's not bother the haram and halal issue. Okay? Anything else? One more.
In networking, it's inevitable that we put a lot of emotion in building the relationship. So how do the good leader handle the kind of emotional breakdown when people really quick and after when you've shown a lot of heart?
Well, just like, that's why I practice detachment, because they say that you could truly love and care for someone if you're not so attached. Let me explain a bit. Attachment is based on selfishness, meaning, right, I want to have a relationship with you because I benefit. Whereas detachment is, I want to have a relationship with you, not because I'm going to benefit, because I want to help you. It's different. You know what I mean? So even if there would be, you come to me, and because we have this relationship of openness, freedom, and I'm not forcing you to do something, you could actually, we could say goodbye. Of course, there would be some, but it would not be as painful as, you know what I'm saying? Because there would always be, there are no partnership that, there would be partnership that lasts, but in our experiences, there are divorce, there's separation, even in marriage and stuff. People just part ways. So even in networking, there would be two leaders or two downlines, upline, they would part ways, right? But make sure you part ways very well. There's no need to fight, because sometimes two leaders would have grown, right? Your downline would have grown, right? In fact, you should be happy. Just like when your child has grown and get married, move to a new home. Do you feel bad? Of course you feel sad. But in a way, you're happy too that your child has now grown and now can have his own family, work. You don't need to support him, but you're still there in a way trying to support. So as leaders in this business networking, when you have to identify your leaders that is now growing. Before they actually leave, you support them to grow. Put them the front stage. I say the good leaders, right? In the beginning, you're nobody. You become a somebody. When you have become a somebody, become a nobody again by bringing in your new people up. Because a leader would always make sure that his people are leading. Then you can retire. But if you're the only one, always want to be the star in front, and you keep your people down, they would rebel. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put them, you got to lift them up, you got to encourage them, you got to give them the central stage so you can go to the beach and swim. Because they're training. Now you don't need to train anymore. Once in a while you visit them, say hi from the background. Why need to go in the front? When they invite you to go, then you go. So it's a relationship, and there's no, of course, separation, there's always sadness there, when you separate. Like me and Dato today, we're still partners for the last 14 years, but we're not as together as we were before. Before we were like we only separate when we're gonna sleep, you know what I mean? At one time he was staying in my house, you know what I'm saying? Like every day we're together doing things, but as the business has grown, right, I had to take care of a certain segment, and I see him less. Like, he left me in the Philippines. He went corporate Hong Kong. I was left in the Philippines doing the marketing side, networking in the early days, and he was setting up the corporate. I was like, hey, but hey, I have to grow too, So this is sad, but it's part of growing. And your leaders would not learn to walk and grow if you don't put them in a spot, if you don't push them to do things. You'll end up doing everything for you. And then you're failing one of the most important things in networking, and that is duplication. Duplication is key to success. Very day one, you should immediately start teaching someone to do presentation. Teach them. Don't do everything for them. You got to teach them right away. Because duplication is what builds your network. It's not being the star alone. You know what duplication is. What I know, I must pass it right away to someone. Everything from how to do the presentation, A to Z, how to prospect, all of these things, I must pass on whatever I've learned in networking to him. Right away, in a week, in 2 weeks. Whatever I learned, pass in. No secret held. Pass, give all the secret. And he must do the same thing, passed on. So tomorrow, in a week's time, I have 5 Japa doing the same thing. Before, it was just me picking apples. Now there's 5 of us picking apples. So we get to pick more apples. Right? In a week's time, there's 20 of us. This is networking. But see, if I'm just the one picking apples, I'm not teaching the rest how to pick apples. How many apples I can pick? But if I have 100, they're all picking apples, I'm in the beach. You know what I mean? Beach money. I'm in the beach, they're picking apples. I'm sleeping, they're picking apples. You know what I'm saying? So I could rest for a week. You know what I mean? Come, how many apples have you picked? Check you. You know what I mean? Are you duplicating? You know what I'm saying? Then work becomes easy. And that's why we're now grown up to like 5-6 million right now, 7 million. As we speak right now, someone is picking apple in Russia, slowly, in those countries where we're planning to open. So Russia, we're coming to pick apples. And those countries that QuestNet is there yet, we would like to visit. If you welcome us, we would like to come there and teach you how great network marketing is a business. And we look forward in seeing those countries. And because we're in a crusade. Our crusade is we want to bring opportunities in people, in countries that there are no opportunities for them to become millionaires. Because network marketing is that opportunity that even an ordinary person would have an opportunity to grow and create wealth for other people as well. So we're the lion in the industry. We create food, Okay? So thank you very much.